Welcome, everybody. I am Andrea Clausen, and today we have a yin practice that is great to work on non-attachment. So, props you might need, you might want a blanket, a bolster, or a firmer pillow, and then maybe a couple yoga blocks. We're going to start though with a little grounding just to kind of arrive in your space. So, feel free to sit up on a bolster or a blanket, maybe cross-legged in Sukhasana. Palms might flip down if you're in need of some grounding, or up if you're in need of some energy. And so let's just start to arrive here on our mats by taking an inhale in through the nose. Open mouth exhale. Taking that once more, breathing in through the nose. Open mouth exhale. And then just starting to find your breath. Just observing if the breath is feeling shallow, it's feeling deep, longer, or shorter. Not really changing anything, just getting curious. Where is my breath at right now? How am I showing up on my mat? What energy am I bringing today? And once more, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what is going on with you. With the practice of yin, we hold postures for 3 to 5 minutes in stillness. You can always come out of them a little early if the body is calling for that. But coming back to your breath. Yin is a practice that's newer to you. This can be some sensations arrive in the body, and the mind might wander quite a bit. All totally normal things. Just coming back onto your mat. I always like to ask the question, where am I now? If you have a Sankalpa, feel free to recite that 3 times to yourself or set an intention for your practice. And since it's a 30-minute practice, we're going to go ahead and get started. So you might bow the chin down to the chest, flutter the eyes open. And so for our first posture, we're going to be taking a side opening posture. You might have a blanket for underneath your hip, especially if you're on hardwood. Your bolster or a firmer pillow or even a rolled up blanket is going to come where the rib cage is. One block might be where your head is resting, or you could use another pillow. So option 1 is situating the head onto that first block. So lengthening that right arm through and then resting the right head towards that block. Now the left arm can stay on the hip. You can wrap or extend it overhead. It might rest on the floor or even another block. And so it might take a little bit to kind of set up into this posture so you get the right length of things. The legs can stay long. You can kickstand that knee behind the leg. You can even take it straight out. So you can kind of decide where you're going to go. So for myself, I know where we're headed next, which is going to be cat's tail. And so if you want that leg straight out, notice it will be there for a few minutes. And so maybe you start this first one with everything stacked or even kickstand. So taking this first minute here, arriving, we'll be here for 3 minutes. And just find your breath opening through the rib cage with each inhale. And exhale, feel everything soften. The eyes might close to keep a more inward practice, or softly staring at something that's not moving. As we rest here for a little over another minute, coming back into the non-attachment aparigraha. What can you release? What's no longer serving you? Even think open fist. If you're gripping through your fist, can you soften? Releasing attachment there. And you might slowly, if you have that leg kickstand behind, you might kick that left leg or your top leg straight out in front of you. And then we're going to come into cat's tail for 3 minutes. And so this is where you could also grab a strap, but you'll bend into your bottom knee, grabbing onto that bottom foot, so my right foot with my left hand. Now, notice my knee is here. I'm actually going to extend my leg back behind me so I feel a stretch in that front part of my back leg. And then I'm going to settle here, and again, maybe that head is resting on a block or a pillow, adjusting as needed. If you can't quite grab that foot, this is where a strap can loop around the foot, and that can be a nice stretch as well. And then once you're there, again, settling in on this side for 3 minutes. And then releasing any attachment to what you feel like this pose should look like. And just settling into what it feels like, what it actually is showing up for you today. This is why it's our yoga practice. Every day it's different. You got about 1 more minute here. You need to come out of it beforehand, feel free to do so, or even dropping that foot. It's also a slight chest opener as well. And for the final minute, just notice, are you grasping or gripping any area of the body that doesn't need to be activated right now? Last few breaths here. And then you might slowly release that foot. And then maybe take a tall body stretch. Maybe just rest here for a few breaths. Letting that settle. We're going to be coming now into a little back bend over this bolster. So an option to keep this top block or maybe release it. And so to set up for this, and again, I like having that blanket underneath my tailbone as well. And so you're going to come over that bolster and your shoulder blades might come up and over the top. And again, the head can rest on the floor, another blanket or a block. And then those arms might come open to a field goal. And so for this first round, we're just going to have those legs straight or knees bent, whatever feels best for your low back here. And so as you're settling here, we'll be here for about 4 minutes. And if this is too much of a back bend, feel free to, again, use a lower prop, such as a blanket that is just rolled up. And just find your breath. With that inhale, focusing on that rib cage, opening around the bolster. And exhale, feeling everything come back down. Tuning back into the mind, where am I now? If you've wandered away from the body, bringing yourself back onto your mat. Maybe counting the length of your inhale to exhale. Final breath or so here in this posture. And as you're resting here, just a few notes as we get ready to transition to our next posture. We'll be going to our left side, taking that side opening. So you can have a choice. Maybe you want to rotate right into that posture, or maybe you want to take a little tree stump by bending into the knees and then bringing those arms down beside you, pressing into the elbows to roll up and find your tree stump rounding into it. I'm just taking a few breaths. So as you're here, your choice, if you want to just rotate to that other side, or I'm going to switch my bolster so you guys can see me on the opposite side. But we're going to find our way back to that opening with that side body. So if you have those blocks, you might place them one resting where your head is. Then that top block is going to be up. Maybe that arm is resting on it, or maybe it's just straight. And finding whatever position feels best for the legs, whether they're straight or tapped behind. And then find the breath. Noticing if you can release gripping on this side. Taking that first minute here just to explore, can I get myself into this posture in a way so I can find more releasing? And again, not attaching to what I look like needs to be what you look like. Or maybe you've taken this pose and there's a peak version that you really want to achieve, which is definitely not the point of yoga. Can you release that achieving and just tune into what is real for you? We'll be here for the next minute. Settling here as I move my children out. This is life. And as we rest here for about 1 more minute, can you soften? Can you release? Can you surrender? Just allowing what is. And then our next one, we're going to go ahead and softly release from here, taking that pause, and then we're going to find our way into another stretch, lengthening that top leg forward, bending into the bottom knee, grabbing onto it or grabbing that strap, finding that cat's tail here. And once more, feeling that breath into whatever the rib cage is on, whether it be a bolster or a blanket. Settling in for 3 minutes here, and just observing how one side might feel different than the other. And releasing attachment that they need to look the same. Halfway here on the side, tuning back in, noticing where am I now? And if you still have that back foot, releasing that foot slowly. And maybe just pausing there or even gently pressing up to a seated position to let that settle in the body. Maybe that tree stump pose once more. And then we're going to get ready for our final posture, which will also serve as our Shavasana. And so if you would rather take a regular Shavasana, feel free to do so. Otherwise, if you're craving about one more posture, we're going to find our way into Supta Baddha Konasana over a bolster or a pillow. So those soles of the feet might come together, lying back over the bolster this time. So it's right down in the center. And then you're going to take your feet together, knees are going to open. You could have blocks underneath the upper thighs. Those arms might come out to a T. If your cat's right there, you can also pet him just a little. And then just settling in for the final few minutes here. Finding the breath into that heart space. Pulling up that line of energy to the third eye with your inhale. Exhale, grounding from the third eye back to the heart space. Softening any gripping. Halfway here. And for the final 2 minutes, can you remain present, feeling and noticing sensations in the body or in the mind? Maybe it's counting the breath. Maybe it's visualizing that energy moving from heart space to third eye. Gently guiding the knees back together. Maybe taking a tall body stretch, or again, maybe you want to roll on up into a tree stump one last time. And then we'll seal off our practice by finding a seat. We'll just take those palms together up above our heads, bring them down to the third eye, trusting your intuition, bringing your hands to your lips, speaking your truth, bringing your hands to heart center, knowing yourself. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Bowing in so much gratitude. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.